Something strange happens the moment people start making more money. They don't just buy things, they buy evidence. Evidence that they're doing well. A nicer car, a bigger house, designer clothes, luxury vacations, the symbols of success. And at first, that seems completely reasonable. After all, if you've worked hard, shouldn't you enjoy the rewards? But there's a problem. The people who look the richest often aren't the wealthiest, and the people who are actually wealthy often don't look wealthy at all. That shouldn't make sense, yet it happens constantly. So what exactly is going on? Why are so many people spending enormous amounts of money trying to appear successful while quietly moving further away from actual wealth?
Most people think status spending is about showing off. A simple case of ego. Someone buys an expensive car because they want attention. Someone buys luxury brands because they want compliments. Case closed. But that's not actually what's happening. Because if status spending were only about vanity, it wouldn't be nearly as powerful as it is. The truth is much stranger. The desire to look successful isn't a flaw, it's a feature. In fact, it's one of the oldest human instincts on Earth. And once you understand where it comes from, modern consumer culture starts looking very different.
For most of human history, status wasn't optional. It affected survival. High-status individuals gained access to better resources, better opportunities, better protection, better mates. Higher social standing often meant a higher chance of passing on your genes. In other words, status mattered a lot. The human brain evolved to care deeply about where it stood in the social hierarchy. The problem is that the modern world changed faster than our instincts did. Those ancient status-seeking behaviors never disappeared. They simply found new targets. And that's where things start getting expensive. Because today, status isn't measured by hunting skills or leadership. It's measured by symbols. Cars, houses, watches, phones, vacations, and increasingly, social media. But that raises a bigger question. If status is natural, why does it seem to hurt so many people's finances?
Imagine two neighbors. Both earn $150,000 per year. Both have similar families. Both live in similar homes. From the outside, they appear almost identical. But 20 years later, one retires comfortably. The other is drowning in debt. How? Where did the money go? Because here's the strange part. Neither person made any catastrophic mistakes. No gambling addiction, no reckless business venture, no financial disaster. One small difference quietly separated their futures, and most people never notice it, not until it's too late.
Every year, millions of people receive raises. And something predictable happens. Their spending rises too. A slightly nicer apartment, a slightly nicer car, slightly nicer restaurants, slightly nicer vacations. Nothing dramatic, just small upgrades, one at a time. The changes feel harmless, even deserved. But together, they create something economists call lifestyle inflation. Although that term almost sounds too innocent, because inflation isn't the real story, comparison is. The moment people improve their position, they often begin comparing themselves to a new group. The neighbor's SUV suddenly seems nicer. A coworker's house suddenly feels larger. Someone's vacation photos suddenly look more impressive. The finish line keeps moving, like a treadmill designed by a particularly cruel psychologist. And the weirdest part? Most people don't even realize they're running.
The first hidden cost of looking successful is financial, but not in the way most people think. People focus on the price tag, the monthly payment, the mortgage, the car lease, the luxury purchase. But the real cost is often invisible. Opportunity cost. Every dollar spent maintaining an image loses the chance to become an asset. And assets do something appearances never can. They grow. A luxury car begins losing value the moment it leaves the dealership. An investment portfolio can continue growing for decades. One creates the appearance of wealth. The other creates actual wealth. Yet the appearance often feels more rewarding. Why? Because appearances generate immediate feedback. People notice. People react. People compliment. Wealth accumulation is much quieter. Nobody applauds your index fund contributions. Nobody stops you in public to admire your retirement account. And human beings naturally gravitate toward rewards they can see. But this still isn't the deepest layer. Not even close.
Because the hidden cost isn't just financial, it's psychological. Modern technology has transformed status competition into a 24-hour event. For most of history, people compare themselves to a small community, neighbors, friends, coworkers. Today, people compare themselves to millions. Every scroll introduces another benchmark, another luxury lifestyle, another success story, another reminder of what someone else appears to have. And here's where everything changes. Social media doesn't show average lives. It shows highlights, the best moments, the best purchases, the best vacations, the best angles. It's like comparing your entire life to someone else's movie trailer. And surprisingly, even people who understand this still fall into the trap. Because status isn't rational, it's emotional. The brain sees a signal, then responds, long before logic has a chance to intervene, which creates a powerful cycle. People spend money to gain status. Status provides temporary satisfaction. The satisfaction fades. The spending begins again, over and over, like drinking salt water to quench thirst.
Now, here's where the story becomes much larger than personal finance, because businesses understand this extremely well. Entire industries are built around status signaling, luxury goods, premium upgrades, exclusive memberships, high-end experiences. Many products aren't sold based on utility. They're sold based on identity. The product isn't really the product. The story is the product. The feeling is the product. The status is the product. And from a business perspective, that's brilliant, because status has no finish line. There is always another level, another upgrade, another version, another symbol, which means the demand never fully disappears. The system doesn't require people to be irrational. It only requires them to be human. And that's what makes it so powerful.
So, what is the hidden cost of looking successful? It's not just the money, it's the trade-off. The years spent chasing symbols instead of assets. The energy spent impressing strangers instead of building ownership. The compounding that never had a chance to begin. And perhaps most importantly, the illusion that status and wealth are the same thing. Because they're not. One is designed to be seen. The other is designed to grow. One creates attention. The other creates freedom. And confusing those two ideas may be one of the most expensive mistakes people ever make. Which leads to an uncomfortable question. What happens in a world where appearing wealthy becomes easier than ever, but actually becoming wealthy becomes harder? What happens when social status can be rented, financed, leased, filtered, and broadcast to millions? Nobody knows exactly where that trend leads, but it may explain why so many people feel successful on the surface while feeling financially trapped underneath. And perhaps the biggest irony of all is this. The people who spend the least time trying to look wealthy are often the ones quietly becoming wealthy. The question is whether more people will notice before the cost becomes too high. Looking successful can be purchased. Actual wealth usually cannot. Because wealth isn't built by convincing other people that you're winning. It's built by owning assets that keep working long after nobody is paying attention. And in the long run, the difference between those two paths can change an entire life.